Hey everyone, Giselle here, and welcome to a reading vlog. Today is December the 7th. It's a Friday. I don't work today, and I have not read a book for a month and a half, close to 2 months, since I have completed a book. At the end of October, I did pick up a few books to try to get myself, and I just was hating everything, and so I decided to give it up for a lost cause and just take a break and watch YouTube and veg out and listen to podcasts and yada yada. And so I haven't read anything. I was really far ahead in my reading goal, and now I think I'm 20 books behind maybe? I'm not sure. I'll have to verify that. We'll talk about it later. If you didn't know, my reading goal for the year, it's not like a strict reading goal. I was pretty much just happy with whatever I would get done. If you look at my goals at the beginning of the year, I'm like, I think I'd like to get to 100. Right now, I am at 310 books. 11, 12? 300 and something books. That does include DNFs and picture books and stuff like that, but that still is a lot of books, and since I'm not reading those things just to pad out my reading, I'm not DNFing books just to pad out my reading, I'm not reading children's books to DNF to pad out my reading. I'm counting it because I read kids' books so that I can recommend kids' books so I can do my job more efficiently. So anyway, yeah, you guys probably don't care at all, but so I just wanted to read 365 things because I thought it would be fun. And right now, if I read 2.5 books every day for the rest of the year, I will make 365. I know I can do it if I read a lot of short things, but I also don't want to do that and just read short things. I don't know, so I figured, all that being said, I am going to, and I'm sorry I'm looking at the viewfinder, this is a new camera, and I especially am looking at myself in this one because it's I don't know, it's a little bit different than the last one. If you can't tell, the audio is a lot better than it was. Anyway, so, all that being said, it's 8:14 in the morning on Friday. I don't work at all today, and I figured I would just try to do a read all day and see if I can knock some books out. I don't want to just read short things, like I said. I just want to read what I feel like reading because I've been in a slump and hopefully I am getting out of my slump. So yesterday I actually had a dentist appointment, and the noises in the dentist where they're drilling into your head are not the most pleasant. So yesterday, I ended up going in and putting in headphones. They said it was totally fine. They can't hear anything anyway. They're drilling. They can't even talk. If they wanted to, and it's so awkward talking to your dentist when they ask you questions. You're like, oh. So I ended up going in. I listened to about an hour and a half of The Magician's Nephew. I downloaded this from my library, and that is not wanting to focus on that. Oh, there you go. That's better. Okay. So, Chronicles of Narnia, it's the whole series, and I downloaded I listened to The Magician's Nephew, and then I ended up finishing it last night because I was just in the mood. It is a reread for me. I've read it a lot of times, and I just want to read books that I know that I love already, because why wouldn't I? So I reread that, and it just made me really happy, and I had such a good time with that. So right now I'm currently 10 minutes into The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Not far in at all. And I have no idea what I'm going to read today. I have a lot of options. So instead of going through them all, I think I'm going to pick and then tell you what I'm reading. But, yeah. Right now, it's 8:15. The fridge is yelling. I think it's telling me to shut up. Let's see what I can read today, now that I've been rambling for 4.5 minutes. My hair is such a rat's nest right now. It is literally 5 minutes later. I have not done anything except for pull out the computer and log on to Goodreads. Besides yesterday, I haven't been on Goodreads in a month and a half. I am 29 books behind schedule, which is a lot. I think what I'm mostly going to do to catch up is that this time of year, so many parents and grandparents, especially grandparents, come into the store, say, what are some good kids books? And I have to recommend a ton, but the thing is, a lot of books that we sell in the store don't actually get reordered because we haven't had enough sales on them, so they just won't order them back in. So a lot of books that I would have recommended 5 months ago or even 3 months ago, we don't even have in the store anymore, because if a copy sold and if a copy hadn't sold like within 6 months before that, and it doesn't have a lot of life sales in general, they just won't order it back in. So I constantly am having to refresh myself, go into the kids section, find some kids books, read them, and so that I can recommend new books to the people who are coming in for presents. There's a gentleman that I'm thinking of in particular that last Christmas he wanted 12 books, so I recommended 12 of my favorites, and then he came back in the summer and said, okay, it's birthday time, and I recommended him like 4 more books, and now it's going to be Christmas time again, and I know he's going to come back in, and if he comes back in on my shift, I'm going to be at a loss of what to give him, because I've already recommended him a lot of the things that I would have recommended, so I'm really going to have to sit down and read some good books. So I think I am going to do that to like really boost myself, maybe try to read like 15 or 20 kids books when I have some time off after work. I end up waiting for Chris after work a lot of the time, so I think I'm gonna do that. But I don't know, I think I'd like to read like one like normal book a day, just like what I would be reading anyway, and then just try to like start reading some more kids books and see if I can catch up that way. That's the plan. I just thought I would update that because I didn't realize I was 30 books behind. But I'm not going to stress out about it as well. Like, I've read 311 books. I think I'm happy with that number, but I can always do more. Alright, so it is now exactly 10 a.m. I totally timed that on purpose. No, I really didn't. I was just like, oh, I need to film an update, and I looked at it and I was like, it's exactly 10, perfect. You don't care. I don't know. I'm just not used to vlogging. Welcome to Giselle's Ridiculous Ramblings. So, I have listened to about 2 hours of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Ooh, yeah, I forgot. It really doesn't like this. Come on. There we go. So, I've listened to about 2 hours of that. I'm now 6.5 hours through the actual, like, it's the full collection, so the whole thing is like 34 hours long, and about 4 hours were the last books, and I've listened to about 2 hours of this one, 2.5 hours. So anyway, I'm making good progress on that, and I'm really enjoying it. Obviously, it's one of my favorite series of all time, and it's much fun. I think after I finish The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, I think I'm just gonna read the Voyage of the Dawn Treader and the Silver Chair, and then call the series quits on this reread, because, I don't know, honestly, Prince Caspian is just kind of boring. It's just kind of a boring book that just, like, it's fine. I do like it, but it's not nearly as good as The Magician's Nephew, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Voyage of the Dawn Treader, and the Silver Chair. And I don't super care for The Horse and His Boy either. It's probably like a 3-star book for me. Like, I do like it. It is good. But it just doesn't fit tonally into the series for me, which really throws me off. And I don't know. I do have a big issue with that. If something doesn't tonally fit, I don't like it as much. And it's fine on its own, but it just doesn't work for me mentally. And that's happened as well with Howl's Moving Castle. The second book tonally is just so different than the first one and the third one that I just tend to skip that one when I read those 2 books. I'll just read those 2 and skip that. So anyway, those are my plans, and I'm gonna keep listening to that, obviously. I also am 20 minutes into Heartless. I have it on here, but I also have the physical book right here. I also have the physical book of the Chronicles of Narnia too, but our Christmas tree, the location that we put it in is right in front of one of our bookcases, and I could get to it if I army crawled underneath the tree, moved all the presents first, army crawled underneath the tree and pulled it out. So it just doesn't seem super worth it to me right now. Maybe I'll do it later. But anyway, yes, I've also started Heartless. I just want something to listen to on both of my phones because this is my old phone. It's just connected to the internet. Anyway. I want something to listen to on both of them so that if I need to switch for any reason, like this one is almost dead, and if I'm sitting in the bedroom I can charge it, but if I'm going to be like walking around, I don't want to carry this around because it's gonna die. So anyway, I just wanted to start something on both. So yeah, that's my plans for the day. The reason I chose this one to read out of all the books that I could be reading is because I read book 3 in 2016. So it's been a couple years, and so I figured now would be the perfect time to read Heartless because I just actually read the graphic novel, the manga version, on last month, I think, and no, in October. I read it in October. I read the graphic novel, the manga, for the book before this, so they only made the first 3 in manga form. I never made 4 and 5 for some reason, so this is book 4, so I've read the manga of all the first 3 now, and since I just finished the manga for that one, I'm like, oh, this is the perfect time to pick up this one, because I'm kind of like refreshed on the story, since it follows very closely. My little ear is kind of droopy. Oh well. Yeah, and I brushed my hair. You should be proud of me. It doesn't look like a total rat's nest like it did before. Okay. Chris is right. I ramble way too much when I vlog. This is something I need to work on correcting.
Be like, yeah.
So Amber just called me on FaceTime because she's at the Dollar Tree and she found something she thought I would like. You can't see. It's a Cheshire Cat Tsum Tsum. And who is that? Gus and Bing Bong?
Bing bong, yeah.
So she was like, they're at the Dollar Tree. Do you want any? And so she's buying me like a million Tsum Tsums. There's a little Alice and everything. And she just is buying me every single Alice in Wonderland one. And Mickey and Minnie one. So, oh, they can't see super well. There's a mini Queen of Hearts and a giant Grumpy. Ugh.
So fun.
Because Amber's amazing. Thank you for being the best sister ever and buying me toys. Because I'm 20... How old am I? 22? Am I 23?
How old am I?
How old are you?
I think I'm 36.
Okay, then I think I'm 23. Well,
Yeah.
obviously I'm a child and and I need these, so thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm so excited.
I'm excited too. Okay, you'll have to also vlog when you get the package.
Oh, absolutely I will. So, it is now 1:22. And I have made no progress in anything since I last talked because I've been watching YouTube videos. Whoops, not exactly a read all day. I've barely done any reading. I've done like maybe 3 hours and it is halfway through the day. Great. I also really need to clean this bedroom because it is a royal mess. And the rest of the house has stayed relatively clean. There's a few things I need to like tidy up, but for the most part, if you saw in some of our previous vlogs on Rhodes vlog, Chris and I doing a massive clean, mostly Chris, and the bedroom is kind of turned into a giant pigsty again. I think it'll be easy to clean up. I just need to hang up laundry and fold laundry and clean out this box of stuff that I bought from work that I haven't cleaned out yet and stuff. So yeah, that is what's going on. I I also, yeah, if you want to know, this is the most recent thing I was watching, and I thought I would give her a shout out because she's the best. Press Heart to Continue, aka Dodger. I guess I can go back where you can like actually see them a little bit. Her phone is in front of her face, but Dodger from Press Heart to Continue. She does Vlogmas every year. Focus on Vlogmas. There we go. She does Vlogmas every year, and it's one of my favorite things of December is watching Dodger do Vlogmas. And this year she's doing it kind of sporadically because she's really busy and has a baby, obviously. But yeah, so I was watching that, and I was just catching up on some other videos. And as you saw, Amber called. That is what's been going on. I've been going through my Goodreads and figuring out stuff, organization stuff and things. So anyway, I'm gonna dig out one of my notebooks and start trying to like plan my reading a bit. It's just probably overkill. I should probably just like relax and let myself read, but I never do that. I always feel like I have to plan it. So I'm probably gonna keep watching YouTube videos for a little bit and then turn on Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe again and clean up the room.
Until it hits this little tiny line there, and then you know that you have enough product. Okay, so it feels amazing. Foundation tried, works with all of them. I've never had a problem with a foundation working differently with this underneath it, which is wonderful. But it's not worth the price point, in my opinion. For me personally, it's just expensive. It also, like the pharmacy product, has a very strong scent. When it's that strong, it's very off-putting to me. So that's kind of why this one's kind of in the middle. It's good, but not at whatever the world I think it is. Number 5 is a product that I actually really like, but I know that there are other people that don't like it, and it's definitely not my perfect product in this range. The Beauty Bakery Blending Eggs. The marketing team over at Beauty Bakery is so smart. Making it in the little egg carton, I mean really, it's so cute. Size, they get really big when you cook them, which I personally really like to have a larger sponge. They also seem to be soaking up a lot of my product as well. However, they do blend my complexion products, my foundation, CC cream, BB cream, tinted moisturizer, whatever. I love the functionality of it. It's just, I like softer. I'm just kind of being picky with it in that I like a softer sponge. We have the Mercier Tinted Moisturizer, oil-free, and I have this in the shade 201 Blush. I really like this. I got this at the Sephora VIB Rouge sale along with the Tatcha. I got that too. It does what it's supposed to do. It moisturizes and it's tinted. I actually am wearing it today, but if you know me, you know that I don't have a lot of discoloration on my face, so you can't really see a ton poking through, but you can see my freckles and everything, which is what I would expect from a tinted moisturizer. It blends on my face very, very nicely. I like the shade. It works really, really well, so I got it, and I'm very, very thankful. Light 1 is the one that I chose, and it is intense. This is I only need the tiniest little on the fallible Pro Glow, but in the last month I have used this a handful of times, maybe half a dozen times, not too many. This is the Buffet serum, so it's a serum that's supposed to do a lot of things. That's why it's called the Buffet. You can see that last month I was there. When I introduced it, I was up to there, and now I'm down to here, so I will mark that. But yeah, there's very little left, which has been great. And if you're going to want to do that, a serum that is affordable like The Ordinary, it's probably a good way to start putting it on your body. I have been enjoying it, and I think I've seen some good effects on my skin.
Okay, so I thought I would change up the scenery a bit, even though I still haven't gotten out of bed. By the way, look at my awesome reindeer leggings. There's little reindeer on them. I don't know how you can see this. Let's see. So there's like a reindeer on them, and it's all Christmassy and fun, and I am enjoying wearing it. Anyway, it is now 3 p.m. Chris said that he should be able to leave work soon. He didn't think he'd be able to leave until like 7 or even 8 tonight because there's just a big deadline coming up, aka coming up today. Big deadline today, and they had like really piled on the shots that he needed to edit, so he didn't think he'd be able to finish until later tonight, but other people had finished their work that they needed to get done. So they all kind of like have been pitching in, I believe, and helping. So hopefully he'll be able to get home before 5, which will be awesome, but really means I need to clean the freaking room. So I've been working on that a little bit. As you can see, I've been watching a lot of like beauty YouTube videos and Disneyland videos and a lot of Vlogmas, and I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I've been watching, but I did finish The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, so that's one thing completed. If nothing else, I completed a book. A very small children's book, but I pretty much read it in its entirety today, and I figured I'd update. I think it ended at like 7 hours through. Let me double check. It ended 7, 8. Actually, it ended at like 8.5 hours is the ending mark. So I guess I listened to about 4 hours today because it was about 4 hours long. And then I just skipped Prince Caspian and The Horse and His Boy because I already talked about that. Prince Caspian isn't actually that bad, and I'm thinking of maybe going back and just listening to a few parts. But honestly, I like the movie better. Not the new movie, not the like 2007 garbage movie, but the one from like the 80s, I believe, is when that one came out. I have it. It's somewhere over there. Maybe I'll watch that instead to fill in the gaps because I prefer it. I don't know. I really enjoy all the animals in it and stuff, and the badger and the dwarves and everything, and I enjoy all their conversations, and it just makes me feel like cozy when they're in their little den. And I don't know, I like the movie better than the book, I believe. Anyway, so I skipped those two and just moved on to The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, which just started at 17 hours and like 45 minutes. So I'm now like 10 minutes, let's see. There we go. So now I'm like 10-15 minutes into the book. Chris is texting me. And I'm at 18 hours now. So, woo, I'm really far through because I skipped half of it. So I'm going to listen to that, and I'm having fun with it, and I'm really excited. I forgot, I don't know, just C.S. Lewis's writing. I don't know, some of the things in these books are like quite dated, and I think would have been written differently now. I don't know. There are just a few things that kind of like bother me a bit, which it's like they're a product of their time, but at the same time it's a little like eye-rolly. Like there's a point where Father Christmas gives Susan her bow and arrow, and then Lucy, he gives her dagger, and then he says, but only use them when you're in great need, because a battlefield is no place for women. And I was just like, is it really though? Like, come on. Like, I don't know. I do appreciate that in the new movie, and like the 2005 Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, that they did actually let like Susan use her bow and stuff. And same thing in Prince Caspian. They let Susan use her bow and be all bad-a and stuff, and I do appreciate that. And I think the visuals in those movies are fairly beautiful from what I remember, but they just changed the story way too much to try to like make it more appealing, that they warped it into something almost unrecognizable and quite drawn out and frustrating. I really, really didn't like Prince Caspian when I saw it first, and I like it a little bit better. I don't know. I'll always appreciate the fact that it introduced me to The Call by Regina Spektor, because that song is beautiful, but for the rest of it and the whole like Prince Caspian and Susan garbage, just like, no thank you. But what they did to the Voyage of the Dawn Treader, Voyage of the Dawn Treader is unforgivable. Whatever garbage that they throw in there, ugh, I hate that movie. I much prefer the older version from the 80s again. It's just so much better and actually follows the story. Whereas like this, they throw in all this extra garbage that is no point in being there and no fruition comes from it. It's just like so frustrating. And then they didn't even make the silver chair, and it's like, you've already made 3 videos, just make the silver chair as well, because that has puddle glum in it, and puddle glum is amazing. Anyway, I really love this series, if you couldn't tell. I haven't read it since 2015 in August, so it's been 3 years since I've read it. I reread the whole series that summer and had a lot of fun with it. And I actually made Chris read them too. So he listened to all of them and I listened to all of them. It was his first time and my like very multiple time. I've read them a ton before and we had a lot of fun like discussing them and talking about them. And I don't know, I just have really been enjoying them. I forget how funny C.S. Lewis can be. And he's just like, it's not like outright like the most like hilarious thing ever. But he just has these little like one-liners and little quips that he'll throw in that are just hilarious. Like when they meet, like when he introduces a character of Eustace, he says this character's name is Eustace Scrubb, and he almost deserved it, the name. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I love when authors poke fun of their characters. And I also really like that they ended up, I don't know, I just really like the writing style, and I've noticed this in modern fantasy as well, that if it has this kind of like conversational narration style with a narrator like telling you what's going on and stuff, I really like that, and something about that just makes me connect more to the story and the characters. And I haven't written a ton because I don't enjoy writing, but if I was to write, that is how I would write as well, is this like narrator that like knows what's going on and throws in all these like conversational things and will like kind of break away from the narration of the story to like tell you something on the side and then go back in and all that. I really, really love that writing style. It just, something about it just 100% works for me. Now I'm going to continue on and listen to the Voyage of the Dawn Treader and clean the freaking room. I should have filmed myself making this, but I'm making steak. And Chris is literally walking in the door right now. Could not have been more perfect timing. Oh, failure. I'll go help. So dinner tonight is going to be, steak. And then I also made some Brussels sprouts. Which you can't really see, but they'll probably be done in 2 minutes or so. So, it's the next day now. I just recurled my hair. It looks a little out there right now, but I will brush it through in a few minutes. I'm just letting the rest of it cool. It's still a little warm down here. Letting it set, and then I'm going to brush it through, and it will make it, like, poofy and awesome. Anyway, it's the next morning. I was really bad about vlogging once Chris got home last night because we spent some time together. We watched some YouTube videos, and then I went to the store. You'll see in another vlog coming out soon, but I went specifically to go get something, and I got it, and it was perfect. So we spent time working on that. We were setting something up, and then, I don't know, I just didn't end up reading it all for the rest of the day, so I still am just a little bit of the way through the Voyage of the Dawn Treader. To give you some context, they just reached the first island, so not very far through at all. I must just have to say though, I really love Eustace. I don't know, he's such a brat, but I really like him, and I really love how his character is going to end up developing throughout this book and the next, so I'm just enjoying that. And I even watched a couple clips from the old Voyage of the Dawn Treader of Eustace, because I just think he's so funny and such an annoying brat. Anyway, besides that, I am now also, I think, 2 hours into Heartless by Gail Carriger, which I am enjoying. I don't know, I think I really, 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 really loved the first book, and I definitely need to go back and reread it, because I read it in 2014, 2014. So I read it over 4 years ago. I think I read it in November-ish of 2014. So I read it over 4 years ago. It's taking me this long to get through the series. So once I finish number 4 and then number 5, I'm definitely going to go back and reread number 1 and see if I love it as much as I did the first time I read it. But no book since has lived up to it. And I get annoyed with some of the things, but so far I'm already liking this one a lot better than I liked number 3. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, it's around 11:30 a.m. I'm planning on leaving for work in about half an hour. I don't actually work until 2, but I wanted to go to Target first. There's a couple things I wanted to pick up, and then I wanted to go to the Dollar Tree, and then I wanted to get to work early, at least 15 minutes early, so I can just help, because it's always really busy when I get there on Saturdays. And if I have time at work before I have to punch in, there's something else I need to do. So there's just like errands that I need to run. So that's the plan. And hopefully things go well. Christopher is still asleep right now, but I'm gonna just brush out my hair really quickly to make it look a little less intense. So there we go. That's kind of how I want my hair to look. I'm probably going to just pull back this front bit a bit, but I don't know. I'm just really into like the big curly hair right now. I think it's so fun. So anyway, it's a look. Unfortunately, my hair is kind of, every time I wash it, it just turns more and more orange. So it is a little bit more orange than it was all last week. But I am planning on re-dyeing it next week before we go to the Nutcracker. So for now, I guess I'll just have orange hair, which makes me a little bit sad during Christmas time. Like, I want to have bright red hair to match all my like Christmassy clothes that I'll be wearing, but oh well, you do what you can do. And this is a little bit more of a realistic look of the color and the curliness of my hair right now. Pretty curly, pretty orange. And I need to cut my front bangs a bit because they're not short enough. So, okay. So, it is now, ooh, my hair. I haven't looked at it yet today. Haven't seen myself at all yet today. Okay, so it is now Sunday. I didn't really vlog at all yesterday because I was at work. I ended up staying till like 10. Normally get out around 9:15, so I did stay kind of late last night. I think I got out of there at like 10:10 is when I left work. Work's been busy. This is probably going to be a recurring theme for the rest of the month. Yeah, even the days after Christmas actually get pretty busy because everyone's coming back and doing returns and exchanges. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I thought I would show you what some of the things that I ended up getting at Five Below. Some of them are in our normal vlog, so if you want to watch the vlog over the course of time that this is happening at, you can see some of the other things we got. But I also got some amiibos from Five Below because I'm really far back. I don't even know if you can see anything. Okay, here we go. So, I got some amiibos from Five Below. I've never bought an amiibo before. If you don't know what an amiibo is, I mean, I kind of highly doubt that because y'all are like nerdy bookish people, so you probably, not necessarily, but a lot of you probably like video games. Anyway, amiibos are basically connected to the Nintendo Wii U. I don't know if it's connected to the Nintendo Switch at all. I don't know. I've never heard anyone talk about it, but I can't imagine they'd completely take that function away because I feel like people would get really pissed about that. They like spent all these money on amiibos and then they're not worthless in the next console, but I'm not sure about that. And then also for the new 3DS, you can like use these. So basically there's like something on the bottom and you can tap it and you can like get that character in certain games. So the first one that I bought was this one. I bought this last week when I was there. and it is Blathers from Animal Crossing. So if you tap this in Animal Crossing Welcome Amiibo, you can like get special stuff every day. And they also give you cards, but I just really like Blathers. They had a ton of characters there from Animal Crossing. They had Tom Nook, they had Timmy and Tommy, they had Crazy Red, they had who else was there? They had I think they had Blather's niece. I don't remember her name. Who else was there? I'm missing at least one more character that they had from there. And so anyway, I got Blathers. I know you're not supposed to open your amiibos because whatever. I don't care. I want to display them on my shelves because I think he's so cute. I love Blathers. And I definitely love him more now in the current games. I don't know. He was cute when he talked before. I didn't love having to go like mail your fossils and do all that stuff in the GameCube game, but now that he just talks to you sometimes, I don't know, he's so cute. Look at him. He's just adorable. If you don't know, Blathers is an owl who runs the museum and is terrified of bugs and wants to eat all your fish and really loves fossils. And I just wish I could donate all my extra fossils to him because he's like, oh, I wish I had enough money to buy these for my personal collection. I'm like, I will give you all my fossils. Just be friends with me. I love Blathers. So, as you saw, I also got Toad. They had Princess Peach. They had, I think they had Daisy. They had, oh gosh, who else did they have? They had Falco from Star Fox. They had, which I was like kind of tempted to get because I used to enjoy playing him on Smash Melee, but I was like, I don't need to spend as much money on amiibos. And then I also got, they also had like some of the, oh gosh, what are they called? Squid Kids? The things from Splatoon. Inklings, that's what they're called. I'm pretty sure. I've never played Splatoon or really watched anyone play Splatoon. It just doesn't appeal to me. It just doesn't seem interesting to watch because it's like a first-person shooter or a third-person shooter, whatever. It's a shooter game. And it's like not very interesting to watch because there's no storyline at all. And I say that as I love Animal Crossing where there's like no story either. Anyway, they had a few more and I was like, I've been wanting amiibos for years, but like never was like, I want to spend all the money on them. So since they're at Five Below, they're like half off the original price at least. I'm gonna get them, I'm gonna put them on my shelves, and I'm gonna be a very happy camper. So here's Toad in all his little cuteness. Toad is adorable. So there's Toad, and sorry if you can hear the children screaming outside. And then the most exciting one that I think I got, I don't know, like I really love Blathers, but I got Kirby. I'm so happy. He's riding a little star and I'm just, I'm so excited. My heart. Kirby was my main in Smash, Melee and Brawl for almost every time I play. I never actually owned either of the games. My brother would bring them home and we'd play for like several days and stuff, so I was never like really good at him, but he was always my go-to character. I'd either be Kirby or Zelda, which I feel like Zelda's actually pretty hard to control. And Melee, like some of her attacks, I'm like, ooh, I probably wasn't using them very well. But, yeah. And I could like never understand how to like switch between her and Sheik and stuff, so anyway. Kirby was my main for many, many years, probably because I was a child, and when I was a child, I loved everything pink, and so I was like, a little pink puffball, perfect, and Jigglypuff has always kind of annoyed me a little bit, so I went with Kirby, and I really, really love the Kirby games. Honestly, Kirby, oh gosh, what's the one, ooh, I feel so bad, the one where he can split into multiples, that one I love. I think that's adorable. Kirby Mass Attack is one of my favorite Kirby games. If you want just an adorable game to play on your DS, I highly recommend Kirby Mass Attack, and he swears a bit, but Lucky 7DX did a whole 100% walkthrough of it, which is how I found it. I think he probably did it in 2013, 2012, so it's a little bit older. I haven't watched it for a few years, so take this recommendation with a grain of salt, but I really, really enjoyed that Let's Play of his, and I really like that game. And I also really love the game, but I also just really love the music from Kirby Triple Deluxe. It's some of the music in that, I just like, oh my gosh. And I don't know if it's specifically from that, but like when you fight like Evil Dedede in that, it's like so good. I will link the song down below actually that I'm thinking of, like that just like makes my heart so happy and I get so pumped up to it. Anyway, that I just want to share my haul. Hopefully you enjoyed. So it is Sunday now, and I thought I would update you on my reading. So as far as it goes, I didn't really read it all yesterday just because I was at work. I didn't really have much time to. I had probably a couple hours to read, but instead of reading, I used it in actually listening to my brother and me. So maybe not the best use of time for like a reading weekend. I don't know. This is no longer a read all day. This is like a reading weekend. See what I can get done. Anyway, so I finished Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe on Friday. I am now, I'm really, really close to the end of The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. I've actually listened to most of it today. This is actually, which I didn't know, it's one of the longest books in the whole series. So this one is, I think over 5 hours. It's like 5.5 hours or so. Ooh, I know, I'm reading such big books. And so I'm super close to the end. I've listened to probably like 3.5 hours today. This morning I've been listening a lot. So that's what I've been doing, and I listened a tiny bit last night. I have about an hour left, so really? I have a whole hour left? The book is almost done. They're on the second to last island. So I don't know what's going to take a whole hour to get to the last island, but that's fine. So I'm listening to that. I'm just really enjoying it. As I was saying before, Eustace, I just really, really love. I think it's because maybe I can relate to him on a sad way. When I was like a kid, I was very annoying. I was very like know-it-all and snobby and rude, and I was just like a brat to be around. I'd like to think that I've changed and am a much better person than I was when I was 10, but up to like the age of like 13, 14, I was a completely intolerable person. If you knew me before the age of 15, I am so sorry. I was such an annoying brat. I don't know. I just, I don't like myself from the past. I genuinely don't. I was so obnoxious. So, like, I can really, like, relate to his, like, being just, like, kind of not a likable person at all. And not necessarily evil, but not great either. And seeing his character development and how even when he is like growing to be a better person, he still makes mistakes. He still says rude, condescending stuff. But like he like catches himself more and goes like, "Oh, that's not a nice thing to do. I should be better at that," which I do all the time. I'm like constantly like holding myself back from like saying like really like rude things to people, because it's like, I don't know, I guess in my nature to be a rude, obnoxious, unlikable person, and I like really try hard not to be a rude, obnoxious, unlikable person because I don't want to be that. So I don't know why I'm crying. I just really like Eustace, and I can just relate to his character a lot. Plus, I think even when he's being rude and unlikable, I think he's really funny. Which I guess goes with the I was that as well. Something I do notice about these books now, though, is a lot of the things that happen are just like, oh, that's very convenient, or like, oh, why didn't you think of that sooner? Which comes along with it being children's books, but all in all, I'd say that they're still really, really great, and I love it, and I'm super enjoying it. So I'm going to continue listening to that. After I finish that, I think I am going to go on to the Silver Chair. and try to knock out one more book and just like be done with my reread of this series. I've also been planning, tomorrow the Smutathon starts, so I'm planning my TBR for that. I have a couple pages with notes of what I'm planning on reading. I'll probably do a live show tonight explaining that. And then the week after that, the day after Smutathon ends, actually the Christmas at Hogwarts readathon thing from Book Roast is starting, which I don't know, like I want to participate in because I think readathons will help me feel motivated to read, because like I have to be reading, like no more YouTube, no more of this other stuff, which I don't know, I feel like sometimes when I'm not reading, I feel like, oh, well, you're wasting time because you could be reading. But I'm not wasting time because, I don't know, especially like being a creator myself, I've just come to realize more and more I want to support other creators. And if I genuinely really like someone, so I'm trying to get better at like not watching just like random garbage that like, why am I spending my time on this? But if I'm watching someone who I genuinely really like as a person and I just want to support them because I think they are wonderful and doing wonderful things, I shouldn't feel bad about doing that. And I've been feeling that way a lot this month, where I've just been like, or the past few months actually, it's just like giving myself a break and being like, these are content creators that you really like, that you've maybe neglected. Spend time watching their videos, support them. And especially when all that stuff with Defy Media went down, a lot of people lost their jobs and started personal channels because now they're finally out of contract and they can do that. I've been just spending so much time, and I know a lot of people are doing Vlogmas, and so I've been spending so much time watching all these people's videos that like I really want to support and I want them to do well. And so like I shouldn't feel guilty about not doing that, but at the same time I do want to buckle down over the last few weeks of the year and try to get closer to my goal, because it will be really, really impressive to say that I read this many books. I would really, really love to be able to say that excluding DNFs, I read 300 books. That would be like my prime goal. And if I could say that excluding DNFs and excluding picture books, I reached that many books, 300, that would be incredible. Anyway, I'm rambling a lot. To give you a little sneak peek of how I'm setting up my magical readathon, these are each of the challenges, and then I'm writing down books that can fit each challenge, and then I can just choose my path from there depending on what I get done, which I think I'm going to pull out one of my big notebooks, something more like this, and do the same thing again, kind of like a mind map. I don't know, does anyone else know what a mind map is? My mom used to make me do those all the time for like school projects of like, this is your main point and these are the little things. Set it out like that anyway. Anyway, but I just thought it was like a good visual, and then I can write things down. And I'm really trying to focus on my Audible reads. Next year in January, my goals are going to be read Sherlock Holmes books for the Sherlock Holmes Readathon for the third year, woo! Read Sherlock Holmes books, read Audible books, and read those darn sequels. So anyway, I've just been planning a lot for my reading, so this is how I've been thinking of it. And so there were books that like I know I want to finish before the end of the year, and I was just seeing which ones they fit into, and I actually have a perfect line from here. So that'll be perfect. Anyway, less talking, more reading. So it is now 3 p.m. on Sunday. I have been planning out my reading and stuff, and I'm really excited for this week. I'm gonna have a lot of fun reading a ton of romance novels, and I also figured out everything I pretty much want to do for the next week as well. I don't think I'm going to get to all the books. I don't know. I really don't think I'm going to get to 365. Like, even reading a ton of kids' books, like, I don't think I'll get there. But I think I'll get pretty close. And I'd rather concentrate on reading books that, like, I actually want to read rather than just reading a ton of short things. So I'm perfectly content. Anyway, so I've obviously been listening to the Chronicles of Narnia. Focus. There we go. So I just finished the Voyage of the Dawn Treader, and I've just now started the Silver Chair. I am less than a minute into the Silverchair, so I've just started it. I'm really excited. I just really adore Eustace, as I've talked about a lot. One of my favorite characters. So I'm very looking forward to continuing on with a book more solely focused on him. Who I'm not excited about is Jill, though. Jill frustrates me a lot. So, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe she'll be less frustrating this time. Maybe I'm just misremembering. I just want to start my romance books right now, which I might do simply for the fact that I can do what I want. And, I mean, I've come to the realization that most readathons just aren't for me. I really like readathons, but a lot of them just don't motivate me necessarily. I feel like I read more on my own than I would through readathons in most cases. There are exceptions. The exceptions being readathons that I feel like have a purpose. So the reason I'm doing Smutathon is because I like romance books, and I would like to dedicate a whole week to reading romance books. Like, that is a purpose for me, and that's something that I genuinely want to do and I'm going to have fun with. Perfect. The reason I really like the Magical Readathon is because I feel like I have a purpose with it. Like, you're doing it for exams, and each thing builds off of each other, which I think is really fun and exciting, and you can... I know the prompts will slightly be different between, like, this year, like, next year and this past year and stuff, and it's, like, always going to be, like, evolving and having different things to prompt you to do, and you can fit so many different things into the categories, and, like, it feels like it's building off of itself. And, like, for the Charms extra credit, I completed 3 of those challenges in that week, so that means that I get to start that readathon 3 days early and things like that. So it just like, it feels like it has a purpose. And same thing with, like, the Gotta Catch Them All readathon and stuff, which I think I'm gonna do, like, a second just, like, personal roundup for myself with Johto region, because she did Kanto and stuff. And I don't know, like, I feel like I just really like that. So that's why, like, the Contemporary-a-thon I think is really great, because it is something that I'm interested in, more specifically, like, romance contemporary. But but almost every other readathon just, like, doesn't really mean anything to me anymore, because I think I'm just, like, reading more than I would if I was, like, restricted by certain guidelines. So there has to be, basically what I'm saying is there has to be a cool gimmick for me to care about it. Like, I know there was, like, a pirate readathon that was, like, a map and stuff. That's really fun. But at the same time, it's not necessarily, like, super inspiring to me. So, I don't know. Not knocking that readathon, though. It was really cool. So, anyway, that's why I'm really excited about Smutathon, because I'm just excited to read all the romance books, and I kind of want to start now. So, maybe I'll even do that. Maybe I'll read, like, some of the Silverchair, and then maybe I'll start a romance book as well. We'll see. And I'm excited to keep planning my reading. It's just so fun. I really missed this. I genuinely did. Like, I didn't necessarily super miss it while I wasn't doing it. But now that I'm doing it, I'm like, wow, this has been such a void in my life that I'm happy that it's being filled. Okay, so it's about 4 p.m. now, and I listened to a little bit more of the Silverchair, but I decided to start a romance book because I thought it'd be fun. No, so if you've been watching, I have been talking about how I was reading the Animal Magnetism series by Jill Shalvis, and I really, really loved the first 2, and then they've just been, like, terrible since. So I was gonna try book 5, and because I've been continuing to read them, because I love the first 2 so much. I was like, why have these other ones been garbage? It's like all the guys are just, like, have, like, really, like, I don't know, like, they just think, like, not great things about women and generalize them, and I don't know, it's just, like, very frustrating, and I don't like it. And there were just, like, other things that were really irritating me about the other books. So I hated 2, I loved 2, so I was like, okay, I'll try book 5. I'm 40 minutes in, and it's Then Came You, and I really don't like the guy, he has already said, like, he has two sisters and they're crazy, so it makes sense that this other woman that he's kind of interested in is crazy too. And then he just said the phrase,
"This wasn't a surprise. Something else having sisters had taught him. Blame was easily assigned to the nearest male in the room."
something else sisters had taught him. Blame was easily assigned to the nearest male in the room. I just don't like this character and I don't want to read about them. Why would I want to read about this character? And this is my problem that I've had with her the last few books in the series as well. Like, why are these men being, like, so down on women? And I don't know, it's not like the most disrespectful thing he could think, obviously, but it's not respectful either. Like, why? I don't know, a guy that doesn't respect his mom or his sisters, why would I want that? That's not attractive. So I don't know, he hasn't said anything about his mom yet, but this is like the second time he's ragged on his sisters and called women not nice things and made general assumptions about them. Like, what that instance was is that she had, like, she's a vet and she, like, the exam gloves that they put on, I guess she had sat on some and she had some on her butt. And the first time he, like, tried to pull it off her butt and she was like, "Don't touch my butt." And so he was like, "Okay." So he doesn't, and he doesn't even tell her about it and just, like, lets her walk around with it. And then she ends up doing it again. And somebody else comments on it and she's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And he's like, "That means I would have had to look at your butt." And it's like, and so she sends him a look of blame, like, "Well, you still should have told me if you noticed." And he's like, "Well, women, they're just to blame everything on men." Yeah, I'm DNFing this book 40%, and it's just definitely not worth my time whatsoever. And I'm definitely not going to continue on with the series. 3 duds in a row from the series with all the main male characters acting the exact same way, like little turd heads. It's just not appealing to me. So we can cross that one off and move on to hopefully greener pastures. So I think I'm going to end this vlog right now. I don't know. I have been reading. I have been watching YouTube as well. But I did buckle down. I did read some more. I'm probably maybe like half an hour into this silver chair. I think I'm going to put a little break on it for now. So I am 3 hours through More Than a Mistress by Lisa Kleypas. But since I'm technically reading this for Smuttathon, even though I'm reading it early, then this, I don't know, like, it does count for today's reading, obviously, but I think I just want to talk about my thoughts on it in the next reading vlog that I do, which will be a Smuttathon vlog. I'm really excited. So yes, More Than a Mistress, I'm 3 hours into. I feel pretty iffy on it right now. I don't really think that I like it. I just really like Mary Balog, so I want to read all of her books, but this one isn't great so far, unfortunately. Not horrendously terrible either, but not great. And that's all I've read, which I guess isn't that much. It's around 7:30 right now, so I'm going to be Skyping with my in-laws at 8, like we always do. I want to eat some food before then, and I've been doing some, like, major, like, planning for, like, getting through my books that I have on Audible that I own. So there's been some major planning going through, but I think I'm going to start my Smuttathon vlog right now, and then maybe set up some bullet journal stuff, because I know that was a thing that a lot of people really loved seeing when I did my Newts vlogs, is like me marking them off and the satisfaction. So that's it for this vlog. Thank you so much for watching. I read 2 books and a little bit, so I think I listened to around like 14 hours this weekend, I'm guessing. I think it was somewhere around there, which is really good, actually. I'm super pleased with that number, considering that I haven't read anything, and I think this has gotten me back into the reading mood and making me feel, like, competitive with my reading, because honestly that's how I read so much. It's that I feel like anyone could read as much as I read, really, if they are okay with listening to audiobooks. But I feel like anyone can read as much as I read, but maybe they're not necessarily, like, super competitive with themselves, but like I get super competitive with myself and I want to win. So I want to read as many books as possible and stuff, and I don't know. So I guess, I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next vlog very, very soon. Y'all are awesome. Thanks for rocking. That was so bad. Okay, bye.